Welcome to the Mo Chatta Show with Big E. The boys settle in for another ride with former bull rider and tapped-off owner Chance Davidson and former PBR rider Wes Baker.
Cheers. Thanks for everybody coming. Here we go. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Thanks for helping. Uncle Milo.
It was a good orgy.
You don't want me.
It's good. All right, so we're ready, right?
Man, yeah, we're all dialed in now.
Everybody loosened up.
Got a
Good?
buzzball
I got
on
an
us.
idea.
Yeah.
Oh, were we supposed to just go to town on
I
it?
mean,
Well, yeah,
thought that
I
was
thought
the
it's
thing.
It fits in my hand like a full drink, so I just thought.
So here's the thing, Big E. The Cowboys are back.
The Cowboys are back. They just signed Dak to an extension
It is.
and CD
got-
Lamb.
I love CD Lamb.
CD Lamb, Boomer Sooner, baby.
But we also got Wes Baker's back.
Actual Cowboys.
Yeah, actual Cowboys. Yeah. So
Yeah, we
got,
complete the job. We don't make it to the off season, and then
We're not gonna finish. We
Well,
got
like I
here.
said, he's back, so we can
That's
we can
right.
just bring him up. We can kind of bring him back down. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Get a tree stand up there, have him as a constant
did you just
guest.
call me a mushroom in Mario or something? You need a power up.
He's talking about the power ups.
What were we talking about? No, I'm just-
Mushrooms.
but also
yeah.
we have remember the tapped off deal.
Yeah.
Thankful we got Chance Davidson back. So you know, hey, appreciate you coming back.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming.
Fellas. Appreciate it.
Yeah, got us set up with a nice banner over here.
It is.
Beautiful.
We're like official.
Some hat. I know. Now we just got a Photoshop, which I think Wes is starting.
It was
Photoshopping your
Yeah.
face on there.
Well, I haven't got to look at these hats. Ooh, those are good looking hats.
But here's what I want to do though. Hey, you're gonna stand there, and I'm gonna be riding it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I'll just put on.
Do they have like a weight class? Do they have like a weight class on that
For
on
models?
bulls?
You talking about girls I date, or are we talking about?
Both. So is it like a I don't know, whatever. So
No, but the lighter you are, the more beneficial it is to.
Sorry, the producers are in my
so
ear over here
bossy.
telling me
Wait.
to put these hats on. I guess they're too far
hey,
up.
I want to shout out to my
Yeah,
lady.
give it up to
I
the
love you,
producers
Hailey.
back here, old ladies.
Hey,
You know, we
I was
got
trying to
two
sign
and a
a
half.
helper. I
In the room.
kept pushing it back.
Yeah, 2.5.
2.5. Got a baby.
So
on the way.
anyways-
anyway, yeah,
So
back
we'll
to
get back
tapped
to
off.
it. So back to tapped off, and I'm gonna be on the bull. You're gonna be standing
I'll
there.
stand there.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
You guys
It'll work
didn't catch
out.
it, but when he asked that, he goes, "Is there a weight limit?" And looked at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to ride bulls. I've gained 40 pounds since then.
So what's like the
So-
typical? But anyways,
Yeah. Well, so you started the tapped off brand, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And so, what's the story behind that? You used to be a bull rider.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Used
guess
to be.
once a bull rider, always a bull rider. Is that a saying? Did I make that up?
Oh, yeah.
How long have you been done riding bulls?
It's been a decade.
I don't even claim to be a bull rider anymore.
Yeah.
I'm
Has
a
it really
rodeo
been a
judge.
decade?
He's
I
a rodeo
don't.
judge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you went the rodeo judge path, and you started this sweet ass brand, Tapped Off.
Yep.
How'd you get into that? What made you want to start that?
Well, it was a phrase that a lot of guys used all the time. As far as when you're in control of the ride, and you got your bull rode, and everybody sees that, they're like, "Oh, he's tapped off on that one." It's like the eye of the storm. You know,
Okay.
you're in the calm of the storm, and
That was a good business model because you can watch any bull riding on TV and any commentator's going to talk and he's going to say, "Well, he was tapped off on that one."
yeah,
Really?
yeah.
And that's a sweet spot you were telling us about last time,
Mm-hmm.
which I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
it's kind of crazy. So like, and I work with Chance, but knowing him and knowing, I've kind of learned about what that sweet spot, the tapped
Yeah.
off, the kind of and I've seen it with his life, and it's kind of cool knowing the bull rider aspect of, but also, man, he's such a good dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, his family's great, kids are athletes, but I want to know. We talked about this before. How'd you get started, and what made you go into the bull riding?
Man, I had, let's see, it's age 5, 6, in kindergarten, met my best buddy. Mom comes, picks me up. He's like, hey, you want to come over to my house for school? Yeah, I'll give you my address, you know. And I mean, that's, you got a landline back in the day, and you have CB radios. And sure enough, they come pick me up in this old black Ford Taurus, and there's this big metal junction box on the front of the car. And I'm like, man, what is that? It's like, that's our CB radio. And then I hear on the CB, I hear, hey, how about you, Whistle Britches? And I'm like, who is that? And he's like, oh, that was Dad. That's Mom's CB radio name, Whistle Britches.
Whistle Britches.
Anyways, long story short, we're driving 4 miles from the house after my best buddy in kindergarten picks me up, and we go over there, and there I am off Old Highway 88, and that's where Light Branch Rodeo, there in Claremore, Oklahoma.
Oh wow.
That's a whole nother podcast in its own of talking about Lipes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like when you say that, like is that where bull riders get started, or is that
Bull
kind of
riding
like
school, or
is that kind of, what is that?
That was a rodeo. That was a rodeo family that they raised the broncs. They had a guy named Kent Tucker bring the bulls in. That's where I first went as a kid. We really claimed to go there, and probably the best and wildest calf scramble that'll put hair on your chest as soon as you win your first prize money in there.
I know where it's at because it doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
I've never been there, but if you meet anybody that was born before, 1988,
yeah.
you will hear stories about that place that will blow your mind.
Oh yeah.
But I never got to experience it.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you this. So Ken Tucker is close to our family.
Mm-hmm.
It is. He's such. I mean, that family. I mean, him and Tracy are just amazing people.
They're awesome.
I mean,
Yeah.
what was cool is hearing that.
Yeah.
And knowing, like, because we hear stories, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
but we don't get to hear stuff like this because he's so humble.
Sure.
You know, Kent and Trace, they own a gymnastics company now. But it's so cool hearing that because he don't ever talk about it. And then we go in the barn, he's roping. Now I get it. He's a cheating son of a. He's been ranching in the rodeo circuit for a long time.
Yeah.
He's a cheater. Is what I'm trying to get at. You know what I mean? So, anyways, go ahead.
It just kind of come to a point. I think by the time we was 9 years old, I think was the first time that I got on something. And Joe Tanner, he was the husband of Wani Lipe, whose family had the ranch, and I call Pawpaw Joe, and he's from Gillette, Wyoming, was a bareback rider. But long story short, I wanted to get on one. Their aunt, I kind of call her my aunt, Londa. She rode in the women's PRCA in the bull riding. So they grew up there riding, but that was where I first got on. Got on a big Bramer cow, no helmet, no vest, just a rope and spurs and a leather glove, and it kind of, I don't remember a lick of it. The adrenaline rush that goes through once you nod your head, it's like you hit the dirt and you pop up and say what happened, and then after that,
awesome.
I was hooked.
If people don't know, like, when your town's rodeo would come up, it would come up annually every year. So, did you guys play football?
Yeah,
or do you know how
young
big
football.
homecoming was, where everybody
Yeah.
got behind homecoming?
Right.
That's how rodeos used to be in towns. Like, they would build all year long for that weekend rodeo, and Lipes is one of those places that was kind of it was bigger than life from the stories I hear.
It was their slogan was, it's not the biggest but the wildest rodeo, and it dang sure was. I mean, it was 3 days long. It was a 3-day rodeo. It was a mini cavalcade to and it probably very well could have been bigger now. Wow. I mean, if you know where the Dollar General is off 88, right? I mean, you dang near have traffic from there 3 miles all the way to the rodeo arena.
So imagine, like, when the PBR comes to Tulsa. Those deals would be the surrounding 8 to 15 cities around there. Just that's not even the contestants. That's people that are just wanting to come and be a part of it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, the thing about it is so whenever you got bucked off, what made you say, I want to do it again?
Probably just the competitive side.
So was it the defeat or failing that you said? Because I've obviously we worked together, but you played baseball, football. I mean, what I've heard, all around athlete.
Mm-hmm.
But so was it the failure to say, listen, I got this dude, I got this motherfucker. Like he ain't gonna give me one, or I'm gonna get the next one, or what was it?
Right, man. There's nothing like, if I was to relate any sport to rodeo, it would be baseball to bull riding, just because of
Really?
how.
I wouldn't have thought that of you.
Well, I mean, I don't know the bull riding around, but whenever you said that, you kind of like hit the dirt. You popped up like what happened. It just someone made me think like in baseball when you get your first hit, or like your first double and you're booking it to second and you're
Right.
huffing, your adrenaline's going, and you slide in. You're like, where'd the ball go? Like, did I make it? Did he tag me?
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
what happened? But you get that,
good
man. I
point.
love the feel of getting that sweet spot of the bat and hitting one, and
Yeah.
you connected.
Well,
You
yeah.
just want to
when
see
you
how
said
far
that
you
sliding,
can go.
imagine you break home, you slide in, you're safe.
Yeah.
There's other people around you smacking you
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what it is.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the more pitches you see,
Yeah.
right, the more it's going to slow down. It's going to come to you. The more you're
Yeah.
going to let that ball travel across the plate to send it where you want it to go.
Yeah.
Bull riding, the more bulls you get on, the more it's going to slow down. It's just the more reps you get. And at the same time, it's like baseball. You get in the slump hitting, what do? You go back to the basics and you go back to the tee.
Right.
Yeah.
Bull riding. Oh, I was 88 last week. I haven't rode a bull for 2 weeks. Well, you go back to the practice pin, you get on a jump kicker, or you get on your stationary barrel and go back to the basics every time.
Well, that's good. It kind of goes back to what we talked about before. Like with Vin and them, it's kind of crazy because whenever you talk about the practice stuff, right? I mean, when is 88 not enough, or whenever, or do I think I could ride a 90, or do I think that is it always something that I could get better at, or is something that I work so hard for? And we talked about with you ride 3 rides, and you're still not placing in the top 10.
Right.
Do you go back to say, how can I get better? Or you just kind of go wait till the next rodeo,
Well, I don't think you ever stop trying to get better. But heck, sometimes it's just the luck of the draw.
Right.
Well, that's
the
what.
bull that you get stuck with.
You're only as good as what you get drawn.
Yeah.
And you said that last
Yeah,
time. Too,
so no. As a bull rider, and Chance can attest, you can only do what you're given.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you did your job and you rode your bulls,
Yeah.
Right.
it's hard to get better.
It's like a
than
college football
Yeah.
freaking playoff. You play a soft schedule, that's just what you got. None of the teams are ranked. Like, you might not get in. But if you're playing a ton of ranked teams, and you maybe lose 2 games, but you played 5 or 6 teams in the top 10 in the country, they're going to put you in over a undefeated freaking Ball State or something,
That's a
Liberty.
Good point.
Yeah.
So
Well, and that rodeo, it's you may look at the families and the individuals that grow up in that, and they may look different than your rural families, right?
Did you have family before you that were rodeo people?
None of them.
Me, I was the first one in my
Yeah,
whole family.
no. My granddad told me that he got on barebacks a couple times, but other than that was the family that took me in and taught me
Wow,
everything.
that's crazy.
Now, did your family support you?
No.
Me neither.
Really?
They basically told me
Really?
if you're picking this path, you're on your own.
Yeah,
No
and that's
way.
tough. That's tough as a kid. It's tough
Yeah.
because when is like as talented as you are, right? If you don't have the push, that you're kind of that's your own battle in your own head.
No, and I worked for my dad, so he didn't want to hear none of that come Monday.
Yeah,
Hey, I'm hurting.
right.
No, he told me, you're doing this. Monday you show up for work and you don't say a word.
Yeah,
How can you, as a kid,
Man, that's
I
rough.
mean, yeah, it's rough. I mean, because I
Yeah.
can think about, I didn't have like a lot. My mom supported me, but it was also, how can, as a kid that young, for you to say, you know what, no matter if my family's not supporting me, or, I don't have a lot of people surrounding me,
sure.
what makes you, as a kid that young, to say, you know what, I'm going to keep going? Or not saying I'm not listening to my parents, but
Right.
how can I go that path?
Well, I mean, I've been blessed with a mother and a grandmother who prayed for me all the time. Mother did not support the rodeo side. Nobody really supported. Grandma, she was good. They prayed for me. I'm thankful for that because that's why I'm still here today, I believe. Yeah. But that family took me in as a kid, and they were you follow your heart. And I mean, they're kind of the reason why I stuck with sports. If I didn't have them, then I don't know where or what I'd be doing. Probably been rodeoing still, but they kind of pushed me to stay in sports. So I mean, kind of that's where I don't think until my it's really my senior year in high school because I was chasing sports. I was with that family. They shut the rodeo down in 96, 97, somewhere around that time, and so that's when I just started chasing ball, and I'd carpool with them everywhere I went. So that's when I was trying to go play college ball at Pittsburgh State in Kansas, or go college rodeo. I didn't know till the end of my the beginning of my senior year. I didn't even know there was high school rodeo. Like I was so far out of it and away from it that I was focused on sports. And
I was in my mid-20s before I even learned that there was high school rodeo.
Yeah. So were
you I'm trying to articulate your life kind of to mine to see if there's a similarity. I played all sports. I played baseball. I wrestled, but I was a loner.
Yeah.
I lived way out in the country, didn't have any friends. I played by myself.
Yeah.
But I didn't find – I went to college playing baseball, but I didn't find family in sports until rodeo.
Yeah.
In my 20s, I didn't have what I now have, lifelong friends. It wasn't from baseball or any of that. It was rodeo.
Oh, man.
Before I met people that I consider family that are just friends.
Oh, yeah. You can drive across the country now, and you have a friend in a state somewhere that will take you in as soon as you call. I mean, and that's probably the closest. I agree, and that was kind of back to the story.
I'd be curious, are there other sports like that? Because I didn't experience that until rodeo.
I mean, I know, and talking with Jeff, he says the same thing. He rodeoed when he was in Pine Bluff in Arkansas, and before that, and he's knows people all over. But I mean, for baseball, I went to college playing baseball, and I mean, there's some friends, mostly just local.
Yeah.
But there's nobody really. When I travel for work and I'm in some other state, there's nobody there that I know.
That's what's awesome about rodeo. Like he just said, if I break down somewhere and I'm 5 states over, I know there's somebody I can call that knows somebody that could.
And that's different because, the baseball stuff, I was in the baseball deal. I can't tell you, outside of my close friends, that somebody come get me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't tell you the people I play college ball with that will come get me and say, hey, you know what, I got you.
Yeah, I think it's rare. I think it's funny you guys say that because it's like those sports like bull riding, and we talked to your cousin about wrestling, and he says the same thing you guys say about bull riding about his wrestling family that he was super close with in college, and wherever they're at now, they're going to be in town for the Big 12s, and there are a lot of guys coming in from a lot of different states, but it's almost like makes you think the sports, it's like there's team sports in those areas too, but it's like an individual taking on a task.
Wrestling is more of an individual.
Yeah, an individual, you one-on-one with another wrestler, or you guys one-on-one with another bull. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what that, because in other sports, it's like you rely on your teammates to block.
Well,
or you rely on them to make a play if you're the pitcher.
That's true.
But in those sports, it's almost, I don't know, it sounds like, to me, it's almost like you gain a lot more of a respect, and guys wanting to be closer with you because they see what you can do by yourself.
Well, you get to pick them.
Yeah.
In football, baseball, basketball, you don't get to pick them. You're on a team together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bull riding, wrestling, and all that, you get to choose what people you want to be around you. Just because we're in the same place, I don't want nothing to do with you. And those individual sports, you get to pick the people you want to be around you.
Right.
Yeah, it almost sounds like, because I'm sure other sports, other guys will have different experiences, but it's also like the higher in say baseball or football, the higher you get, being on a star team in Alabama or the NFL something crazy high up like that competitively, you might have more of family somewhere.
Yeah.
But like with you guys just going up through rodeo, it could be like you said, a town rodeo or something. It's not like you have to be in the PBR to have those relationships, but as where other sports, it's almost like, well, now I got people everywhere because I'm at such a high level
Right.
and I travel all over all the time.
Sure.
At this level, but with rodeo, it just seems like that happens pretty like quick into the game, that you meet people that you want to be around and would have your back and help
Well,
you
it's
out.
weird. I consider Chance a friend,
Yeah.
but I told Mo before anybody got here, have we spent any time together, one-on-one, hanging out, doing anything?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Chance was a guy I met through people at a rodeo, and you pick up the vibe that he's a good person. I've considered him a friend for a long time.
Yeah.
But I was like, shit, I didn't think about it. Me and Chance haven't ever went and hung out and done anything together, and we live 30 minutes apart.
Yeah.
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 But you meet good people.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I consider you a friend. If anybody ever asks about you, I'm like, Chance is one of the best people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, same, and that's well, I was going back to kind of like the, and that could be a whole nother topic. I mean, between the sports, the ball sports, right,
Yeah.
and then the rodeo,
Yeah.
people are different, and that rodeo family that you see, it's like, the way that we grew up, you might see. You go to these rodeos and say you're suburban people, families. They go to a rodeo and they just go and buy their new boots and they've never been to one, and
Yeah.
they're like, hey, I'm not saying that they do, but they're not necessarily the people that were born and raised in that are rough around the edges,
Right.
and don't have all the new Western stuff and to have their outfit together.
Yeah.
But those people are the most down-to-earth, humble people. That the ones that are rough around the edges are the ones that are going to mold you to make it in this life when it tries to knock you down.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I found that they're the ones that'll open their home up to you
Real
faster
quick.
than anybody else, too.
Yeah.
Well, then you were talking about knocking you down. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, Ethan, Big E don't understand and don't know your whole story. I mean, that was, you're going through bull riding, you're going through, then all of a sudden, some big hits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, to me, as your friend, is, I always tell you all the time, is like, I totally respect the fact that nobody knows, and you don't want any sympathy. You don't.
Sure.
You're not asking for, oh, poor me, dude. You're still doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
still. But I want you to tell a little bit of what kind of transition to that, and kind of what changed your life a little bit. And I kind of want you to, if you don't mind, if that's all right.
Sure.
So
You're talking about the cancer?
yeah.
Yeah, man. That's. I give. Between God and rodeo. Sports, football, yeah, it helped, but rodeo, that was the thing that brought me up, that molded me to. So whenever I was diagnosed in, first, it was crazy. Is 2020 pipeline and life's good, making good money. Have a spot on my head. Go to the doctor. It's like, oh, it's melanoma. Looks pretty bad, pretty deep. So I'm like, all right, cool. What do we need to do? He's like, oh. And it was weird because you think about, you're like, how bad is it? Well, it's pretty bad. We had a big surgery. Went down, cut out like a $50 size down around my skull, cut all the margins out. And like doctor said, I'm pretty sure we cut everything out. All the cleared all your margins, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, awesome, great. Well, 7 months go by, and I'm at work, and I'd been battling some symptoms for a little while, and then I'm finally just like, man, I'm exhausted. I am exhausted.
So you're riding like at any point in between that, or is that kind of later? Or is that kind of, you still gonna go to rodeos, or is that kind of?
Was that after your riding days?
Yeah, it was after my riding days.
Okay.
Yeah, after the riding days. Yeah, so I guess we kind of jumped a big chapter. I mean, we could have. But yeah, so long story short, 7 months go by, and it's October. Go to the doctor, and then they look at me, check me out, and then I hear this one mature doctor in the back. He was like, "That's rare." He's like, "I haven't seen something like this in a long time." And he said, "There's not very many people that have it." You know?
Oh, great. That's the
Yeah,
last thing
yeah.
I wanted to hear.
Yeah, and I looked at my wife. I'm like, "Did you hear that?" She's like, "No." I was like, "Okay, I did."
I did.
Okay. He's looking at me from a distance, you know. So anyhow, they're like, "Yeah, let's go get X-rays, or you need a PET scan, blah blah blah." And so they call me back, and I'm at the side. I'm on the sidewalk at the house. One of my best friends is there, and my wife, and it's like, I got the call, put him on speakerphone. He's like, "Hey, it doesn't look good." He's like, "Your liver's covered up." I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, and you're just like, gosh, dog. But I knew that there was another point in my life that, like, when I didn't just buckle down and cry, you know, it was more so, all right, we got another adventure ahead of us, you know.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing that we've always talked about riding bulls. You don't quit till your head hits the ground.
But I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Bull riding is a selfish thing. Now we're at a point in your life where you got a wife and kids.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just about you now when you find this out, is it?
Right.
I just
yeah.
want everybody to know that.
Yeah,
It's
for sure.
it's
Oh,
not you
100%.
on your own now. You've got a family that you're providing for and
Dude,
living for.
yeah, I mean, if I was still single, I'd probably still be trying to ride. I mean,
That's
I just
crazy.
would. And that's another thing that any young guns that are going now, you know, hey, if you really want to ride and be successful, you keep your eyes on the prize of what you're chasing.
Well, where you're at, I guess what I'm asking is, say you're single chance, no family. Do you receive that news any different than how you received it?
Oh, yeah, no, it's yeah.
Same thing.
It hits bigger because, you know, my dad kind of was out of the picture after I turned 9, and that family kind of took me in, and as hard as I can't say life has been hard, but because I've been thankful for all the rodeo dads that have been in my life, and you know, people have always asked me if I was in the military, for saying yes sir, no ma'am. It's like, no, I was raised by a bunch of different cowboys.
Yeah.
You know, that was
Yeah,
just
you
it.
can tell that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell that.
And I'm thankful for all those guys that have, you know, kind of been there. But yeah, that definitely hit different because, I mean, that was my first thought. It's like, I can't have these boys being raised by another dude.
Well, that's what I don't want to go too deep.
No,
it's too
yeah.
much, but like, I was talking to Mo before anybody got here, and that's kind of what I've been wanting to know about. I've never asked you, like,
Right.
I can only imagine how I'd accept that news.
Sure.
But how, in that moment when you get that phone call, what goes through your mind? How do you process it?
Right.
It was short go.
So how's your old lady take it? Just because we know her, you know, Haley and I know her, and
Yeah.
such a sweet gal, and
Oh.
it's kind of like, and I could kind of see her as you know, to me is I don't know her very well,
Right.
but what I do know her, she kind of seems like a coach.
Yeah.
You know, somebody to say, hey, you know what, and full assumption, I don't know if she's like this or not, but it's almost like, hey, we're gonna roll with it.
Well,
We're gonna do it.
and woe is me. You don't understand nothing until you're in those shoes. There
Yeah.
might be people that are going to listen to this that aren't in the shoes, but they could be
Yeah,
someday
for sure.
that can't articulate what you went through. And
Sure.
I've been curious about that for a long time, if
Yeah.
I'm being honest with
Well,
you.
especially in that world. I mean, Ethan said before, he's like, Big E was like, these wrecks and these people that get, I mean, they look like they're dead on some of these bulls.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how can you get up from it and just walk away and say, hey, listen, we're going to do it again?
Yeah, but you get to choose that when it
Yeah.
comes to cancer.
Right. But
Yeah.
You
yeah.
get
Well,
to
this-
choose that.
Sure.
I mean, it's
When the doctors were saying it was a rare thing that they were seeing, that one doctor at least, and then they hit you with that news. Where do you go from there? I
Yeah.
mean, you're on the sidewalk, you get the news.
Yeah. Get the news. I just had that, you know, really, honestly, I had that mindset of I'm going to the short go to ride this bull for however much to pull a check. You know what I mean? It was
Isn't
just
that
like,
crazy?
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking.
Well,
I'm
and
thinking
that's just your mindset.
yeah. Well, it's
Well,
just
did
like
they?
through all the-
Was it that short of a phone call, or did they say, "Hey, we need you to come in next week"?
Yeah, we can do some stuff.
Yeah, it was a pretty short phone call. It was like, yeah, definitely lesions
Yeah.
everywhere. You
Yeah.
know, and you're just like, okay, but then you start replaying things in your life.
Yeah.
You know, and it's almost like God going, I molded you here, molded you there, molded you here,
Right.
got you through this. You know, and I'm thinking about, you know, in my song it says broken ribs, busted lungs. Well, it goes back to, I mean, it went back to a time like, dude, you had a you know, you've collapsed your lung, you know, you busted your ribs. Why are you still alive? You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
And
Well, you shouldn't be.
right.
I mean, that's the thing. It's
100%.
like you look back and it's like you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And it's like, you're here, you know, so what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And then what kind of example are you going to set for your
Well, that's
kids?
what I'm saying. Knowing you that I know you, you're a provider for your family.
Yeah.
You're getting this news yourself, but you're also trying to keep the pieces together for your wife and your kids.
Right.
So do you see that? So like going on your point. So do you see like a flash, like something saying, man, like if I don't make it tomorrow, I need to do something today.
Yeah.
Is that something that you kind of?
That's
Well,
the
your mind was running through a whole bunch of
Yeah.
stuff.
that's the toughest thing.
Yeah.
Is, I mean, same as God. I keep on relating everything to bull riding because I mean, gosh, I was in it for so long, you know, and around the rodeo people for so long. It's something that I still enjoy and love and miss, but I'm out, you know.
Yeah.
But
You're not out.
But you went.
Yeah.
You're not out.
2024.
Because
Right.
we were talking
So we
about,
know-
listen, Wes and I was talking before, you're not out. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, and that's part of the family because I was talking about your song. I was talking about your faith. I was talking about not all of the stuff that I knew, but,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
if you pull it all into that,
And I didn't know you had a song.
oh, here's the song.
You guys were saying the song, and I'm like, what
You want me
song?
to sing it to you?
I would love to.
I can't
Closet
sing it to you.
karaoke coming up after this,
I
but
can't sing it
that's
to you.
pretty
He's
cool. You got a
waiting.
song too.
Well, we'll put it on the deal and we want y'all to hear it.
for it.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
it. Yeah, we got it all. And but the thing what's awesome is Wes and I was talking about. Wes said it perfect. He goes, he's not out.
Yeah.
You know, because this is a brand,
Yeah.
but this is also part of all this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
And
and it's something that I guess bull riders are the big family, like
Yeah.
what we were talking about. You know?
and it had to take probably a good your family and everything to get you through everything.
Yeah.
So you went into the doctors after that, and they ran some more tests. Or?
Yeah, and you know when you know your own body, right? You
Yeah.
know it. You know when something's off, and it's what's funny is because I mean my wife does not cuss to save her life, and you know the last thing you want to do is go to MD, on the WebMD. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I've got a cough. Well, you've got 6 months to live.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. But I was looking up all my symptoms and everything else, and I remember I was on the couch and I go, I've got cancer, and she goes, you don't have effing cancer, and I was like, oh gosh, dang it, you care,
Yeah.
you care, you love me, you know.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
anyways, when I got that, I wanted to play that country song, "I Told You So,"
Yeah.
to her, and but yeah, but it was that time. But one thing that I could tell anybody is like, if you were ever to hit with that kind of information, do not let fear in,
Yeah.
because that's one thing that's so corrupt.
I guess that's long-winded. What I was trying to ask you was,
Right.
I don't know how I'd receive that information.
Yeah, I think I'd be scared shitless to be
Well, that's a
honest.
good
with you. I
thing
mean, that's and I think that's part of the bull riding deal, right? I mean, I know that. Well,
yeah.
anything, yeah.
And the,
I know.
No,
I don't think so,
no.
because when you
Different
choose to
ball
ride
game.
bulls, that to me that fear was never there. This
Yeah.
is to me
Yeah.
is something different.
well,
Yeah.
I think you said it that's a great saying don't let the fear in. And the fear is so corrupt. Like, it's such a corrupt thing.
And not to get sentimental, like
Sure.
I was telling him, I've never heard a one person say a bad word about you. You're kind of a man of honor with your family, your wife. Like, I can look to you and respect that. I don't have that.
Sure.
I could want that.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could be man enough to, like, I couldn't accept that information from a doctor.
Yeah.
I feel like I would crumble.
Right.
So
Right.
I've always been interested in just,
How you
I
did
don't know.
it.
Man,
I think a lot of you, no
Yeah.
more than we've hung out, and
Yeah.
I think you're a great guy.
I appreciate you, brother.
And I just, man, I'm blown away and fascinated by
Yeah.
your faith
Well,
and how you've held everything.
Man, I tell you what, I'm lighter. I'm lighter than I was when I was riding bulls.
Really.
I was riding bulls at 175. I'm 168 now, and it's like it dang sure does make you want to get back on when you feel
I was gonna say, you ready?
pretty good.
I mean, I got a bull on the back. If you want
No, I'm telling you, it's crossed my mind.
to. So
But
can I borrow a bull? So,
So
I
is
can
that
put in the
one
back?
of the, is that the main
Oh,
reason
yes.
you got out of bull riding?
It was my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have my head on straight. I was in love, and you can't think about a girl and ride bulls at the same time. That was me. Like, I can't.
No, I heard that multiple times.
I can't think about, well, what if this happens, and what if something happens?
Yeah.
It's like, why are you still riding bulls if you're
Well, that's
having
what
that
I'm
thought?
saying.
Changing your perspective.
Something's wrong with me because I'm 38. I've never been married, never had kids. I
Yeah.
didn't want that when I rode bulls. I
Right.
wanted to. I just haven't found it since then. But no,
You're not gonna find it in a strip club, bro.
I don't even
You
know what
never
those
know.
are.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
No, well, that's the reason I never, I was thinking about getting into bulls the last couple of years, and I met this old lady over here and just took the wind out of my sails of the bull riding thing. So I decided to never get on, but I think I would have been pretty
Now
good.
she's pregnant.
Yeah.
You know, there is a rodeo that I want to try out. I know they have one. I know they probably have a ton of them, but there's one in like Tahlequah that's like an amateur only rodeo.
Mm-hmm.
You can only enter for like the steer riding if you've never like ridden a bull before.
Oh,
And
that
I
would
was
be
like,
great.
I've got good news for you. We've got an arena at my house and stuff. You and Mo can come
well, that one,
get on
that one-
anytime
come
you want
on
to.
that, at that rodeo though, if you win, you get a buckle. Because I'm never gonna wear a buckle
Hey,
unless I win one.
I've told
But
James-
there, if I could win that one, I could at least say, "How big?" Oh, it would
Listen,
have been a steer, but
Hey, I'm right there with you, bro. I've been telling Chancey. I said, listen, because he knows I always want a bulldog. I can't do it off a horse. I want to do it straight off a chute. Somebody's like little, like it's
Shoot
just
dog.
slow.
Shoot
Yeah,
dog.
shoot dog.
That's what we
So-
used to do at the house.
So here's what I'm
Just-
thinking. But if I do it, I want a buckle. You know
yeah,
what I'm
that's
saying?
the thing. I'm
not
gonna
in
have-
competition.
Even
I
how
want-
funny it would be to have a steer.
I think I've got the hook up right
that's
now.
That would be great.
I'll tell you,
That'd be
What's that?
hilarious.
when I always tell them, I said, listen, I want to do it at your play. I want to run out. I want to bulldog real quick, but I want a buckle when I finish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Remember that?
absolutely.
You know?
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
I'll hook you up.
Well, let's make the juice worth the squeeze then. I will order a buckle, but you two got to compete against each
I'm
other.
in.
All right, that's fine.
Oh, it's on.
You know, I know he's gonna lose, so I'm not worried about that. You just,
Come on,
you just
man.
hand that to me now, and then I'll come out.
Chance, we're
and
going to
earn it.
practice every week.
I love it. Yep,
We're
I
going to have
love it.
Billy pull. No.
We can do it.
Yeah.
What and was that situation went through? Did that lead you into getting into starting your own brand, or was that before?
The brand was before. All the cancer diagnosis was way after. The whole brand thing stopped at a time to where I'd gotten married, had a boy on the way,
Yeah.
and my mind wasn't right. And at that time, yeah, I was watching a bull riding, an Extreme Bulls on TV, and I was like, man, oh, he's tapped off on that one. I'm like, gosh, dog, I would love to still try to give back. I mean, there's so much that I would want to do with this. I mean,
Right.
as far as to getting riders the funds that they need that don't have it, to support the talent that's out there that
Yeah.
doesn't have the money, the backing to get down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about that. I mean, that was cool about having them guys on because a lot of people don't know that you front the money up and you don't ride, you're in the hole.
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot of people don't understand that,
Yeah.
And and not, I mean, I don't know a lot about the bull ride. I don't know about, but knowing the people that I know is these guys are fronting their own money that probably they don't have it.
Yeah.
Or they
just
are
work.
struggling with
Well,
it.
but do you find yourself, like getting older guys, I see guys asking for sponsorship, but they don't want to put in the work, practice. They just want to go and enter. And I kind of always had a belief that if you can't go spend your own money to win money,
Yeah.
I would not want to put my brand on you. My company,
Yeah.
I'll back you, but you better have your heart in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to help
true,
a
too.
winner,
Absolutely.
not somebody who's just wanting to do it for fun.
Yeah, go make a name for
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's and that's the thing too is if you build it, they will come, right?
Yeah.
So if you go ride and perform, make a name for yourself, they'll come.
Well, because you're working together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to help you. Help
Help you.
me. Help you.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, yeah, and
Yeah.
and I always told her the Tap Dog brand is so cool. Not knowing everything behind it. I mean, Chance has talked about it for a long time, and knowing everything behind it, I love it because, and that's why whenever Big E, I was talking, I was like, dude, we're putting it up there.
Yeah.
We're putting it up there because not only does it reflect on the bull riding, to me, it's like my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like the stuff that a normal person goes through. Doesn't have to be bulls, doesn't have to be sports or nothing like that. Just life in general. That's a tapped off deal. It makes me step out. You know, being a dad of 2 girls that I love dearly, but it's like at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel like
It's
what you were
almost like
talking about.
it's almost the exact opposite of tapping out.
You're exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the thing. I mean, people could do that all day long.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you don't know that, but I've never told you that. But knowing what this is and you behind it, I don't need this. I already know you.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like, but this is what describes me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not
Right.
perfect, but you know what? What's awesome about it is I was telling Big E, I was like, dude, we got a chance to check out these hats. He's like, oh man, there's dope. And I was telling him a little about it, and then I was telling him about you coming on.
Yeah.
Is he didn't know all the stuff that you had, like
Sure.
what you went through, what you're going through.
Yeah.
I mean, Wes and I talked about it before, but it just is so cool that it's just the life that you've lived
Mm-hmm.
is crazy to me.
It's pretty wild. And a lot of people don't know it about me, like where I've lived, what I've done, what I've seen. I
Yeah.
mean, you could look at me as some just country boy, but man, I've seen it all. I've lived down the street from the trap house. I've seen Bloods and Crips hug behind closed doors. Like I've seen a lot of stuff that.
Don't let him fool you either. Because I got. I'm at a rodeo, and he's got his tapped off booth set up. I'm like, man, Chance is killing the game. He's got 2 hot girls back here working for him. And he's like, man, get in there and get you a hat or something. I get in there, and I'm thinking a hat for free. And the lady says, here's the price. I said, nah, I know Chance. And she goes, yeah, I'm married to Chance. She's like,
You're paying that.
the hat is this cost. And I was like,
$25,
I don't need to go to her. I need to go to this other girl. And I said, yeah, I know Chance. He goes, yeah, that's my brother. And I'm like, whoa, is everybody in Chance's family good looking? Either way, they're getting my money before I get out of here. But no, he got his, for a great guy, he's got his own racket
Well,
system
listen,
going
hey,
on.
listen, I don't know if that means that I'm better friends than you are, but I got these 2 for free.
It just means my
He might take them on the way out, but
I can dang sure hook Wes up.
no, it's good though. You know, and like I was telling Big E, is there's a lot of variables for, you know, the bull. I love the rodeo aspect. Y'all know it. I mean, we don't know much about it. Him and I are both the same way. Is I love the competitiveness. You know, Haley and I was talking about the barrel racing.
Yeah.
It's just amazing to me the whole rodeo part of it. You know what I mean? These people are just so athletic people.
Yeah.
You know, all across, and like I said, I want to get on a bull, and then Wes is like, no, you don't, and I don't want to get on a bull, but I want to tell my friends I want to.
Yeah,
know what I
I
mean?
want to get on one just to I mean, she probably won't let me now, but I want to get on one just to feel that adrenaline. And,
Well,
and
but it's a
experience
bug,
it.
like Chance said earlier. You know, it didn't go good, but you're getting up and they're dusting dirt off of you. That is your make or break moment.
Yeah.
So many people come to the house to get on. If they, like even me, when I went to Big Bulls, I had the wind knocked out of me. And I said, and they said, I said, can I get on another one? And you're going to know quick if it's,
Yeah.
if you want to cross it off your bucket list, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I empower people to do that just so they can get the respect of, they get a little more understanding of what people go through. And that's like, I'm going to get a buckle for you guys to compete. You got your shoot dog and bull riding. But after what you just said, I'm going to have a fucking barrel horse there for both of you guys to get on too. I mean, we're doing a full-on rodeo. No, this isn't enough. No.
Come on.
Oh, Haley will. She said she will.
You can't just sample a little bit
That's
of it.
true.
You're
You're going to end up out there doing a podcast out there.
That'd
We
be
got
awesome.
this week that's going to ride a bull.
Whoa, here.
Who's our guest this week that wants to ride one? Oh, come on.
Well, what's cool too is this is how I know the level of the people that care about Chansey. You know, they did a benefit rodeo in Oologah, right? Is
Yep.
that what's that rodeo called? I mean, shout out to
Oologah Roundup Club.
Roundup Club, and they put on such a good show out there, and it was crazy because when we pulled up, there was not very many people there. Like we got there a little bit earlier trying to set up. We did the banner and all that stuff, and man, I tell you what's crazy. It is. I don't know if they all talk to each other, but all of a sudden you see all these trucks with trailers, and you see these people coming in, these big trucks, and man, there was a bunch of bull riders, and that they were competing for a buckle. You know, it was. For the craziness of it was, I could tell how much people care about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Outside of the cancer deal,
Right.
it wasn't even about that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was about me saying, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna go out there and support my boy."
Yeah.
And I was behind the chutes, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I was like, I never seen some of these guys. And I mean, I've been around there with Van and stuff, but these guys, I was getting up close. They didn't even care what happened at the end. They were riding like they were riding for the PBR championship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was super cool. Lot of entries.
That's what I was talking about Mo about. I don't know how to put it in words that, to me, you've never been the loudest guy anywhere or nothing, but somehow, I don't know if it's your faith, the kind of man you are, your light has shined
Really
so
has.
bright that,
I mean, I was rowdy at one point.
no, it is,
Listen, I've
but
heard some shit on you now.
But-
I was rowdy at one point.
I
but yeah.
genuinely, my opinion from you from the word go was you're just a good man and a good person.
Yeah.
So I apologize that I never reached out, but I was one of those people
Oh,
that
buddy.
it's not my business. I stay
Yeah.
silent. But
I
just
get it.
even on Facebook, dude, I checked in on you all the time because I wanted to know what was going
Right.
on.
Yeah.
And before you guys got here asking me, I was like, man, I've wanted to know this whole time, but
Yeah.
I grew up in an era of how I was raised. You don't ask people about their business, but
Sure.
Yeah.
you've always been on my mind
Yeah.
since it come
No,
about,
man, I
and I'm
appreciate
glad you're
that
coming
bunch.
out on the end of it.
Yeah, and that's just it. It's been boy, it's a mental battle.
Yeah.
It's a dadgum mental battle. But
How many years are you from the time you got the call?
we're 3 years now. I go the 20th this month for my next PET scan. See where everything is. If my body feels good, I feel like I'm good. You know, and that's where I feel like God kind of just continues to speak to me like, hey, dude, you're just holding up, skin and bones. It's like that. This is nothing that can take you if I have you, right?
Yeah,
Your spirit's
right.
upholding that flesh. It's how you look at it, right, mentally.
Yeah.
So you're past the worry about it all the time.
I just
You
don't. Yeah, I don't care anymore. Like to a point to where it's like I'm here.
Is there a little bit of a freedom to it too, where like maybe you from that point on, you decide to pick up your life without any worries and live every moment
Yeah,
for the fullest. And
because these last the 2 years, and I hate it, just coming from a dad, being a father. My boys are 11, 10, and 5, and
God.
2 years of their life, they had to mess with impatient.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm fighting for my life. I'm sorry I'm yelling at you, but it's just a simple fact that I don't want to leave you here alone,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
can't protect you.
Right.
Type.
Yeah.
Get it right now. Don't let me tell you twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was 2 years that I can't get back.
Right.
But over this past year, I've had to apologize to them and say, look, this is where I'm at. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I love you guys so much, and I don't want to leave you guys here
Yeah.
with all the
Right.
knowledge that I could leave you
Right.
with.
Right.
Well, and Biggie, you don't know this, but he's also the boys' football coach,
Oh, really?
baseball coach. So he's like,
Yeah.
so it's not like it's, feel sorry for me. I'm just gonna sit back and just
Right,
be a
yeah,
dad.
no, of
You know what I
course
mean?
not. Yeah,
He's
there's a
still
lot of other-
like, I mean, we go to work and I could tell he's not feeling good because I mean, I've been around whenever he first got it all
Yeah.
started.
Yeah.
I mean, and seeing him kind of dwindle, like his weight.
Buck 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Saying like,
Yeah.
I see a guy, country boy, big old buckle.
Yeah.
It's like, and everybody's like, oh, dude, Chance is a fucking athlete. Dude, he's probably one of the best dudes come from Ula, got all the bullshit. So, but seeing him not ever like accept it to
Yeah.
the fact that I'm like, you know what? Poor pity me.
Yeah.
He's always done the same stuff. And then like he's coaches boys, he's and I'm always thinking, expecting to say, you know what, I'm just sitting at the house. He's like, oh no, dude, I had 3 games. He
I
just
got
told me,
practice,
like,
I got-
I went to 3 games in Texas.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy to me because I don't know if I'd be that tough.
well, that's what I was asking. Do you think that the chance that if you didn't have a family, do you accept that news different?
Yeah.
Now I totally see what you're saying as far as that. Yeah, like, do you lay your tail down and
Yeah.
and hunker down and go crawl off in
Yeah,
a
that
hole
woe
somewhere?
was me. Everybody feels sorry for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I caught a bad break.
Right.
Right.
That's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know how I'd have taken it.
Because I feel like with the life you have,
Because you don't have anybody else to worry
no.
about.
That's
So
the thing.
there's a level of I cannot give up. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's probably where the true blessing is because, Psalms 127, it says children are the, heirs of your quiver, you know what I mean? And so it's like you got to sharpen them. And
Yeah.
so, you've got a great point there to where they're probably my why.
Yeah.
Why I
So at a point where I don't want to say it's a curse. In the beginning, you could think, "Man, I got a wife and kids.
Yeah.
Why'd this happen to me?"
Oh, sure.
But at the same time, that could be your faith and your drive. Is
Yeah.
Oh.
I've got these wife and kids.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, there was the worst time that I kind of shape that I was in. I was actually in the shower, and I cussed God, but I praised Him at the same time.
Right.
I was like, okay, you want me to praise you in the effing storm? I'm
Right.
praising you in the effing storm, and I got 3 effing kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm cussing, and I'm giving them everything that I got, and but I thank you, whatever this is going
Right.
to lead to. Thank you, I
Yeah.
guess. I'm supposed to
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you, right? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not. It's not making sense. He works in mysterious ways,
Yeah.
but I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm doing it here,
Right.
And
Yeah.
but here we are. It was funny is because we went to MD Anderson, and it kind of back to when I talked about don't let fear in.
Yeah.
We went to MD Anderson down in Texas, and they kind of
Did they treat you like you weren't just a number though?
well, they did.
Is that like a rodeo
No, it was
No, it's a cancer.
cancer
cancer.
center.
It's-
the big cancer center.
I
in
never heard
Houston.
of it.
They have
I
one.
can't-
They have
what is
one. What's it? Is it Texas and then?
They got man. They
Yeah.
Well, that's the biggest one I've ever heard of. That's why I
Yeah.
wanted to know.
MD
Do
Anderson.
they treat you like when you go to the local urgent care, you're just a number?
well, it was
or
tough. It was during COVID, so
Oh,
geez.
man.
everybody's in
Well,
mask. It's
Everybody's a number then.
yeah,
Right? Basically.
everybody's
Yeah.
a number.
Right.
I had we were down there for 2 weeks. I had to get my nephrostomy. They had to give me because I had tumors that were pushing on my kidney, on my ureter, and so that was shutting off, blocking my kidney up, and so I had to get a stent put in, and I'll never forget.
I want you to spell ureter.
I'll never forget. I'd had to carry. I was carrying that urine sack in like in a Dollar General plastic sack. You know, just hanging out my side, and it was basically my purse. And you know, we were finally after got out of there and had that stent put in and stuff. You know, we're leaving, and my wife's like, "You gonna carry that into the gas station?" I was like, well, I want a snack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So here I am with this plastic bag with this piss sack in it.
He needs a pee.
I'm gonna be 38. I haven't had a birthday function in 20 years.
This is your birthday, Big E.
Yeah,
And I
No,
do
no,
it for
this
you.
has been the best
I've
birthday.
never been invited to one. By
Well,
you.
no, I don't do anything.
Being
I don't
back,
do
like,
anything. And
Well,
there's-
happy birthday.
There's two. I appreciate you. There's two girls I'm really good friends with that I golf and bowl with and stuff. And bless their hearts, they decided to take it upon themselves. No, well, it kind of pissed me off at first because she goes, we are doing something on your 40th birthday. And I said, bitch, I'm 38. Whoa. And she goes, you look 40. I was like, it's already. So,
Like 40 inches tall or
yeah,
40?
either way, it's a lose-lose on my end.
Good boy.
They start throwing out these ideas of shit they want to do for my birthday, and none of them are shit that I want to do for my birthday. And they're like, no, we're gonna go golf in this town and get a hotel room at this casino in this town. And I'm like, they don't even have a bar in that casino. And they're throwing. I was like, is it my birthday or is it your birthday? So they start getting these ideas, and I don't want to be a part of none of it. Well, so you guys are all invited. You know where Nola's is?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got dinner reservations tomorrow night. You might be the only people that got invited that I fucking know at this fucking birthday party. She goes, we made a reservation for 20. I said, well, I know 4 of you. Who the fuck are all these other people?
16.
And then they started talking about places to go out, and I was like, this ain't even my fucking birthday.
Yeah.
It's
Hey, if you want, come watch the fights. in the
these
arena.
Yeah.
single mothers planning my birthday party to have their night out.
Planned Parenthood.
What is that place called? Ruby Reds or whatever.
Ruby Tuesdays?
No, it's like this club downtown. You're
No, that was
probably
a
in
Mexican
there.
club, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're probably
Oh,
out there.
dude, me and Baldo was the only Well, I was. Yeah. We
So,
had some good times.
Since we're not really filming, this is kind
We
of.
are. This is all.
So
We edited all this out.
I grew up with all sisters. I was the only boy in my house, single mom. Everybody's gone on the weekend. My sisters are gone. My mom's going on a little trip, and I got direct TV at the house, and I knew my mom's password, and I was like, Moulin Rouge. That sounds like a winner.
Sounds like a winner.
I get my beanbag chair and some lotion. I'm 12. And I'm like, I'm about to jerk off all over this fucking living room. Because we didn't have phones, you didn't have internet. Well, it was a fucking musical. And I'm ready. I'm like, when are they going to get naked? When are they going to get... So, no jerking happened. I'm like, it's a fucking buzz. That's not even the worst part. A month later, when Mom gets a direct TV bill, she calls me in. I have no clue what's going on. And she's like, you want to explain yourself? 12. Keep in mind. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. She goes, you rented a porno while I was gone that weekend. I said, no, I didn't. She goes, yes, you did. And I said, actually, no, I didn't. I rented a goddamn musical that somehow was not jerk-off worthy, but I got blue balls when I went to sleep. Watching
I
it.
thought now I'm getting in trouble for this one. I'd like to get in trouble if I actually did it.
Yeah, no, nothing happened.
Oh, jeez.
So, if anybody's watching this, Christian Aguilera, I want my $12.99 back. That was not worth nothing.
It was not worth $12.99.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, for
So
sure.
do you guys have sponsors for this yet?
Yeah, tapped
Is
off.
this where you plug
off.
them in? Tom?
Tapped on
Give
right.
a shout out to the
Right.
sidewalks for
Oh,
keeping
and
us
we're-
off the
and-
streets.
and then,
So what's life been like
Twisted
after
Tea.
cancer?
Yeah.
We don't have. We're not. We don't have the sponsor.
When you're
but
going
yeah.
in the gas station for a snack, pick up a 12-pack of Twisted Tea.
So is this one of those speak it into existence
Yeah,
things?
yeah,
That's right.
You
What you're
hammer
shooting
Twisted
for.
Tea enough, they're gonna.
Well, I mean, here's the deal. We love it, so it doesn't matter. So, and it, you don't remember the last 30 minutes of it. So
No.
here we are.
Yeah.
Twisted Teas twist you up.
No, get back to Chancey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
well,
we
if
are.
you want to do your quick shout outs, shout out to your Twisted Tea. I noticed you got your mustache bash
Come on.
coming on. Nathan Tull, 10 weeks away, I believe.
Yeah, what is that?
Right?
What's that?
It is the single standalone best bull riding you can go to.
So here's my thing. Can
Mr.
we?
Baker should be
Where is
judging,
it at?
correct?
So
Judge.
hey,
Yeah.
so can we get in? Like, can we maybe get in some of that?
I'm gonna tell you right now, I've got enough pole. Chance got enough pole. I think you guys. It's on a Sunday.
That's fine.
Where?
El Reno, Oklahoma.
Perfect.
You guys can probably set up your podcast stuff and.
Be cool.
It'd be cool.
Or
to do-
if you just want to come,
well,
hang out,
it'd
and
be
be a
cool
part
to
of it.
do a live stream or
Yeah.
even just like record it and have maybe some people come in and sit
Yeah.
in.
So
We'll
this
talk-
is
Come and go kind of thing.
Because Chance was talking about it at work. He's like, dude, I want to talk about it. Because what's the guy's name that
Nathan Tull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he the guy that is over it, or is he kind
Yeah,
of started,
started
He started it. He's
So who's
the,
who's that guy?
Nathan Tull is
he's won the IPRA.
won the IPRA. He's the director of the bull riding for the IPRA.
Okay.
The IFR.
He wanted to build a bull riding by his friends for his friends. It's a standalone.
That's awesome.
There's no rules. It's not sanctioned with it. I'll be drinking beer while I judge because there's no
That's
rules.
cool.
So
And it's
So that's
El
what you're
Reno?
talking about. You're talking about. Okay.
It's one of the greatest bull ridings. on
Really?
earth.
to participate, you have to have a mustache.
Yep.
So,
So we
you
got
are
to.
not eligible to ride or enter if
to
you do not have a
anything.
mustache.
You
That
can't even be
is-
personal.
Listen, baby. What I might do is shave it all, and leave the stash for the.
I'm gonna go ahead and go out on a whim for you here, buddy, because I don't know what's under that beard, but I did mine last year when I gained about 20 pounds, and I didn't know there was something underneath
is that-
it.
is that
It
what
is
we're
not
doing?
worth shaving it for that one day. We'll just throw
What
some
about
mustache
do a-
wax,
a wire-
make it
yeah,
a little
yeah.
better. Yeah.
Well, dude,
First
that'd
of
be
all,
cool
you
to-
just shaved yesterday, and you already got a
It
beard.
came back fast.
See, look, his old
It's
lady
not.
said the same thing.
It's not.
That'd be fun to do.
First of
try to
all,
do a
look like-
live stream
look-
and guys that ride just
Oh,
come
that'd be
on
so
after
much fun. Dude.
Oh, man.
in between
it's-
rides and like you guys
I
stay
Are you
on.
guarantee
gonna
you.
go?
It's cool. I'm gonna try to get there this year.
So they set
Yeah.
up, the arena's set up, but they got a big, long flatbed trailer for
Yeah.
Dana, the secretary, and everything set up, and I guarantee you 100% it's on Facebook Live. There's so much shit going on. There's a wild ride where guys dress up in costumes. There's bareback.
Oh, we gotta
There's
go.
bareback riding where
That's
guys
awesome.
dress up in costumes.
Yeah.
Oh, we
is-
gotta
They'll
go.
be in Daisy Dukes. And
It's
maybe a
wild
bikini
from the
top.
moment
We
it
gotta
starts
go.
till it ends.
You
And
in?
that's what day is that?
Sunday, something.
Is it in March or April?
Yeah, it's May. May.
So,
mustache
anyways,
back.
so is it Chance? Is that the guy that you rode with before, or like?
Yeah, so I met Nathan. I've known who Nathan was for a long time, and I eventually met him through, other bull riders, Jared Long, and we just ended up. I can't remember where we were at. We were in Missouri, I believe, and ended up kind of just and became good buddies with Nathan's brother Wes.
Not that far behind.
But yeah, solid dude.
Is it so? Is the West guy, was he a bull rider too?
Wes was his brother, yeah.
Was
his
he a
little
bull
brother,
rider?
yeah.
I got you.
And but yeah, no, Nathan's been doing nothing but trying to give back to the bull riding community
Oh, cool.
and teaching kids. I mean, for free. Like
Yeah, he makes zero off
So
this
is
deal.
it? So is it a school that kids could go to? That
bull riding school kind of thing? Or?
Yeah.
he would be. He usually has practice pins on Wednesdays during the week, maybe a Sunday. Here
Really?
and there, his place is always open to anybody
So-
who wants to come practice.
That's something we've never talked about. There's a difference between a practice pen to go get better and a guy who's got some bulls he needs to get bucked.
Yeah.
Nathan's got a practice pen where you can go there. He's not going to let you get on anything you're not qualified to get
Okay.
on.
Yeah.
Hone your skills, get better, build them up. And there's good guys backing him too to give him the bulls to
Yeah.
make guys better. So oh shoot, that's like year 8 of the Mustache Bash.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's been moved to a few spots, but El Reno kind of welcomed it with open arms.
Yeah.
It's a maze, a rough
We
year.
got to go there, dude.
Yeah, it's only
We
about
got-
a 2-hour drive. We can.
Yeah, we need to.
Oh man, we
Yeah.
go to Twin Peaks and eat after. Everybody's a group. It is a.
That'd be fun.
It'd be fun.
I was a little butthurt when I realized I'm judging in Arkansas on Friday and Saturday and got to drive like 6
no,
hours
Yeah, you got to drive
on
all the
Sunday.
way.
But
Hey, at least you ain't broke all your pelvic bones wide open.
not
You gotta
lately,
drive
no,
at
no,
night, you know?
no. But it's no, I'd love you guys come. It is a standalone, just a party for
Yeah.
his friends.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It's not sanctioned with nothing, and we just
That'd be a
That'd be
blast.
fun.
Yeah.
So
That'd
let
be
me
a
ask
blast.
you
We'll
this,
have to
Chance.
put a
So,
link to that too. In the,
oh, that would be put. Yeah,
yeah.
we need to just.
Yeah.
I mean, like you were talking about, put a link to the mustache deal,
Yeah.
and then also to the tapped off deal. I mean,
And
we've been talking about.
let
it,
me
so.
know if you can't make it and you're wanting to have some tapped off stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Make it happen, and I'll make sure.
And
if you
I
can't
mean,
make it,
you know,
we'll-
we could.
Well, if
bring-
anything, yeah, we could bring stuff if we and set
Yeah.
it up next to us and sell hats and things
Yeah.
like that too.
Yeah. That's
You know-
one thing that I've just missed over the several
Yeah.
years just because the boys are traveling baseball.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, and I don't think we've ever talked about this. Chance is so knowing what you went through, not even like because the thing about it is I don't want this to be all about cancer, right?
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because I've known you through your cancer stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but I've also known you before that,
Right.
Not
Right.
very long,
Yeah.
but I want everybody to know that there's hope,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then, but before that is this something that you, and I know your kids are athlete. I mean, are you telling your kids to try bulls, or is that you staying away from it? Or is that, I know that's a tough subject, and I
that's
never
a
asked you that.
Great question, because even
Yeah.
my last relationship, if I ever have kids, I don't want my sons riding.
And I've heard
Right.
that. So what
Yeah.
I'm saying
Yeah,
is,
and
like,
it's-
is that something? Because listen, I've heard outside of you, our buddies like Billy and them and Penner and them is they've all said you got crazy athletic boys that are studs. So and they're baseball, football.
Sure.
I know some of them are
Yeah.
wrestling. So like. Are we going in the rodeo world, or we pushing
Yeah.
away from it, or is that something that you're? I mean, I want to
Well,
know.
and that's one thing you guys both said too is before you guys got into rodeo, you didn't have any family members, you know, in rodeo, and you
Good
guys
point.
got into it. But now that
That's a
you
great
do,
point.
you're
And when you're young, you don't think about it. I didn't realize till maybe why my parents were against it was because they were paying my insurance.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I was getting on bulls.
Yeah.
So
Right.
the way the world is now, if I have a son, he's like, I'm riding bulls. The hell you're not until you get your own job and your own
yeah.
insurance.
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
So
Right.
what's
Yeah, what's the
about yours?
verdict?
I support my kids in whatever they want to do.
Right.
But if they're gonna do it, we're gonna give it all or nothing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Until you think twice. If you're a numbskull like me and you take a few blows and you're like, well, I'll try that again. You know what I mean? Well,
Right.
then let's do it.
Is there an angle you can go with it? Like, you know, Brandon Wesson,
Yeah.
his boy started riding bulls. He won the first bull riding he went to.
Yeah.
So Brandon put that money in his account.
Yeah,
And he said, I want to go to another bull riding, Dad. He goes, well, we got to go get your $65 out of your account to pay for your fees.
Right.
He goes, well, that's my $65, Dad. He said, are you not going to pay my fees? He goes, no, son, you're in the positive.
yeah.
You're supporting your habit.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
goes, I don't think I want to ride bulls anymore.
Yeah.
So would you do that with your
Yeah,
kids
yeah.
if
Good
they're
for
winning
him.
money? Because that teaches you something as a
It
kid.
does.
Yeah.
Oh, it teaches a whole lot.
So do they know about your rodeo stuff?
Yeah.
Like do they know like?
Well, and that's
because
one thing I want to get into too is your rodeo stuff.
Yeah.
I know you rodeoed, but like, what levels did you rodeo at?
Sure.
How long did you rodeo? Was it always just bull riding, or did you do other things?
Man, I got into rodeo. Bulls and stuff was the first thing that I got on.
Yeah.
Whenever I was in high school and stuff like that, and I found out about the high school rodeo, and I heard some kids told me, "Yeah, you can win money at those things." I was like, "Well, I can't win money at this next basketball game I'm going to, or this.
Yeah.
I can't win money. I'm scoring several touchdowns. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, not to D-Ray. How old are you now?
38.
38.
Yeah, I'll be 39 in October.
So you're both
Yeah.
the same age.
Yeah. So
God, you look way better
But-
than Wes.
Y'all both look a lot younger than
Oh, I get
38.
to touch
I'll
that
tell you that
cancer.
right now.
yeah. you just gotta get your colon cut out, get some intestine cut out. You know.
You know what I got to stop doing is stop eating Whataburger for breakfast every morning.
Nah, get back. Sorry.
No, yeah, you're
But
good.
I never knew about junior stuff either.
Yeah.
Like, did you know about?
Man,
I mean, there's junior. I had no clue about it until I was almost 20.
It's so crazy because I think the NJs, the National Junior High rodeos, were way bigger.
I didn't even know that.
By
was a thing.
far, but
Yeah,
I knew nothing
didn't-
about
Yeah.
it.
Is that a thing now? Is that like the?
It's
been a
it's
thing.
smaller than what it was when they
Back
would have
in
been
the
our
day.
age, but that goes
Yeah.
back to the circle of I had no people to show me that door.
Yeah.
Right.
I did it on my own, and I was
Yeah,
Right.
I didn't know
Right.
that. That's, yeah. Okay.
Well, so
gotcha.
you've been riding since high school. You said the first bull you got on when you were how old?
Man, it started 9 at,
9
at,
years
at
old.
Life's
Okay.
Rodeo. Yeah, they put
thought
us
it-
on these Bramer cows, and I mean, they did kick over their head.
So did you guys not experience that as kids, or we just me and Chance, that redneck that
No,
when the
what-
local
what-
rodeo comes to town, your parents drink enough alcohol and are like, "Hey, we entered him in this," and they that's how it happened to me. They throw your kid on the
First of all,
a
my
livestock
mom-
animal, and you don't even know what's going
My
on.
mom didn't even know what a rodeo was. So the biggest thing is it was awesome learning later.
Are your parents married and together?
No, they've been divorced.
Because I'm going
forever.
to tell you right now, I know my mom, and knowing you, your mom was probably at the rodeo. She just
Oh yeah, my
wasn't
mom was
watching
for
it.
100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, for 100%.
Same
Yeah,
here.
no,
Yeah.
My parents just got me into baseball, and they both were from small towns in Kansas,
Yeah.
but they wanted to raise us in Tulsa. So we grew up in West Tulsa, and we didn't go to any of the rodeo stuff. I didn't even know about any of that stuff until like high school.
So for a
Halfway
small
through high
eclectic,
school.
did you grow up with married parents?
No, so my mom married my now dad, my stepdad, who's just my dad, to me, whenever I was 5. So we moved to Sand Springs, was born in Tulsa, and then moved in with my dad when I was 5. And so, but since then it was, they neither of them played high school sports. My mom was in like ROTC, went in the military for a while, and then
So did you have structure though?
yeah.
I mean,
Oh, he's got
I'm
great
going off
parents.
you,
Stuff.
me.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't have structure. I had a good mom.
I had
Yeah.
a tent.
I tried to
There's not much
fight
structure there.
every guy from the age of 10 till I was
Yeah.
18 that come in.
Well,
the
and that's a
house.
good point. Is so growing up, you were talking about a little bit of chances where, at one point did you say, "Listen, I'm going to do this or try to do this for a living," right? Or I'm going,
Yeah.
or I'm going to because Wes was talking about like you have traveling partners.
Right.
I'm going to try to, no matter what my parents say, I'm going to try to have a traveling partner. At what point or what age did you decide that you're going to try to do this?
Oh man, that was my senior year. I had I had told my mom, which she said, no, you can't live here and ride bulls.
Oh,
Uh,
man.
you
Wow,
can't
that's
you can't
crazy.
live under this roof.
So
And,
what'd you say?
And I
What'd you
said,
say to
well,
that?
I said, can I ride broncs? And she was like, well, they won't necessarily chase you. And I was like, yeah, you got a good point. I kind of had an idea if you're higher off the ground.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to ride something that bucked, and I wanted to be involved in the rodeo. So she said sure, but at the same time, it's crazy. I mean, probably from my 7th, 8th grade year all the way throughout my senior year, I bet I didn't live at my house for a whole year.
Did you ever get that? Maybe that was just my mentality where, I'd work Monday through Friday, but if I had a good weekend, I can make as much that weekend as I did all month.
Yeah.
Working on Monday through Friday, so that was the ghost I chased every weekend.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
So is that something that you like? Where
It's a
you
hell of
were?
a ghost to trade. I mean, that's a hell of a ride.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And you're betting on yourself, and the house wins almost every single time.
Well, and that kind of goes to your motto of the tapped off stuff with the faith and stuff is
Yeah.
the thrill of the ride,
It's kind
right?
of don't quit, commit, and rise
Yeah.
to the occasion.
What I'm saying is like, so
That's a great saying.
whenever, oh, dude, he's got crazy shit. I mean, so whenever it says live for the thrill of the ride,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's
Right.
like, I feel like you were living that before you even created that whole concept.
Sure.
Don't you?
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, 'cause-
accepting the process, right, of the cards that you're dealt with.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you ever get that feeling riding where you ride a good one and it felt even better than the money you might have won that night, though?
Oh.
Like that money could not replace that feeling of a good ride.
Dude,
where
there's
you were tapped off.
Yeah.
Tapped off.
I'm telling
I
you.
got chills thinking about that, bro.
There's been times to where some of my best times were driving home by myself after winning a bull ride. And like usually you're like, man, I need this energy drink, or man, I need a can of Copenhagen. You know, I need to throw one in to keep me awake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
See, that's another podcast that we could get into where you just said you won money, you had a good ride. You got 3 or 4 other guys in the same car with you that got skunked, didn't win no money.
yeah,
And there's 5 of you. Guess who's driving home, too? You might have won, but guess who's driving home because you're the only one that's got a little bit of high of the night.
Right.
It's you while everybody else is sleeping because they're not in a good
Oh,
state
yeah.
of mind.
So
Yeah.
is that something that you had multiple people, or is that kind of, knowing that your family didn't agree with it? So do you have, like you said, the partners, the ride, the people that you ride along with?
there was a lot that I learned once I got to college. After what was cool was so I was dead set. So my goal was either to go play football in college or college rodeo. Once I found out that you can win money, well, I made a deal with myself. I said, if I make All-State in football, I'm gonna go somewhere. Or if I place top 4 in high school finals and go to nationals, then I'm gonna get a scholarship somewhere. Well, I just happened to get lucky enough that both of those happened. So I was at a 50-50 deal.
I mean, I kind of felt like that happened to me. You know what I mean? Like professional bull rider, football.
right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I just man, what was crazy too, dude, is I had I gathered up all my rigging. My vest was denim, and it was like 1/2 inch thick, which was bareback riding, right? So this is high school, right? So yeah, I got the permission to high school rodeo.
Oh, so you went to the bareback after your parents said you can't can't do the
So
bull
I
ride.
continued, yeah.
Okay.
And football was still in the equation, but I was like, I'm going to high school rodeo, and
But it's not just bull riding. Any rough stock, you can be tapped off.
Yeah.
Bareback, saddle bronc, bull riding.
Yeah.
Tapped
Yeah.
off still fits in any
Yeah,
of
yeah.
that.
yeah,
sure.
absolutely,
Yeah.
we ended up. I ended up going to my first high school rodeo. I got a rigging from a kid from that was his dad's.
You said bareback's what you did?
Yeah.
Talk
So when you
about
say
a set
rigging-
of balls.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever experienced this?
Bareback?
But bull riding, your hands in there. You're taking a wrap coming around. Bareback is it's a tight suitcase handle, and once your binds or your glove are in there, you're in there.
Listen, you're talking about, have we ever experienced that? I've never experienced any kind of animal.
So no, I'm
know what I'm
trying
saying?
to put it in layman's terms.
Yeah, layman's terms like a suitcase
Oh, I know what I'm
handle.
saying.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
no, let's you
Babe,
you
come
got a
over here and
guy
get up
you
there.
got a guy that wants to fuck you, and he's got a set of Chinese handcuffs, and you put all fingers in that son of a bitch, and you got 8 seconds to get away from him before he sticks his dick in you. That is bareback riding. I don't know if anybody's explained it that way. I've never done it.
I
but
kind of like
that's
that. But hey, listen, I'm never barebacking.
I was thinking of the Chinese finger trap.
Yeah, well,
Barebacking.
throw a guy that wants to
Bareback.
butt fuck you on
So-
the other end of it, and that's bareback riding.
And you guys on that, which I've seen videos, the goal of that is to lay all the way back to that horse's ass almost.
Yeah, well,
I've seen it, but I have no idea.
you can say, and shoot, bareback riding is kind of a totally different thing.
Yeah.
But, if you don't, if you look back and go and study Chris Ledoux, and that guy, he really rode. He set up as good as he could. It's not bad. You don't really want to lay back and kind of just get strung out as much as you can. I mean, there's a lot of core that's involved. and then getting in timing, setting your feet, and getting a hold of the withers, you know. And when you set your feet and get a hold of those withers, you're really dragging and pulling yourself back up to your rigging.
Okay.
Right.
But with your neck, do you predominantly drive with your lady, or does she drive?
I mean, I drive.
Do you ever been with her in rush hour traffic where it's stop and go?
No, I make sure I drive. In those
Imagine being with her with no seatbelt on, and it's 5 o'clock. Everybody's going home.
Here's the
and you're
curve.
dead.
She's hitting it.
Yeah.
So the dude that's his dad was the long haired dude that's a bareback guy,
Steiner.
young kid. What's his name?
Roger
Steiner.
Steiner.
So when you look at that, is that kind of, I mean, for what you did, that I feel like he's breaking his neck every time he's riding. Is
Yeah.
that kind of the same thing that you went through, or is there kind of different riding?
That
Like
feeds
deals.
into the judges too, though, because he's got a way of selling it. Because I do horses too.
Yeah.
You're selling it to the judge that horse might be even.
Yeah,
more
the
than
hat
what
flying
he
off,
is.
hair flying off,
You
neck
have-
brace.
You gotta have
You know what I
flair.
mean?
Yeah. Have
So
some
is
flair.
that-
Because it's the same as bull riding. I know guys, but you know Paul Hickson
Yeah.
rode so good he made the bulls look easy.
Yeah.
And he would lose points because you're like, oh, that bull wasn't that good, but he rode so good
Oh, yeah.
that it made the bull look easier. And
hurt you.
I'm assuming you can do that with horses.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Is
for
that
sure.
is that kind of the same, like from now, the rocker to what you did? Is that, did it kind of just come up in that world?
No,
or is
I
that
mean,
kind
if you Google a guy named his name was Cimarron Gurkey. He had long hair,
That's a
flashy.
awesome name.
Cimarron Gurkey.
Yeah,
I want to
man.
be named
Stout-
that. Can you call
stout
me
dude.
Cimarron?
Well,
Cimarron.
Will Lowe.
Cimarron Mo.
Will Lowe was another one. Will Lowe's
Okay.
probably 5'6", 5'7".
Same height as
How
Long
mine.
hair.
many world championships did Dan Mortensen win?
Dan Mortensen, yeah, stud. I mean, there's a lot of guys. I can't say you can sell as much flair in the bareback riding as you can in bull riding.
Bull riding, you chew your own free will. You're competing, and when you're going against a horse, you're trying to beat them to that. When they're dropping and kicking, you got to beat them to there. Before their front feet hit the ground, your spurs got to be up there to beat them. And then when they're rearing, that's when you're coming back. You got to beat them.
They're looking at timing, but that whiplash and all that stuff you see, if you look back, you go back into the day in the football world, and they have the cowboy collars.
Yeah.
Right, they've got those
Same
now.
thing. Yeah, okay.
They
Gotcha.
keep your neck stiff.
My
for the
first
most part.
What I would call my legitimate bull riding vest was a bareback riding vest because it had 2 straps.
Yeah.
I could never keep my chin down for the longest time. And
So
I
that
pulled the
ride
strap
right
down,
helped you.
and I had the neck roll.
That made
and it
sense.
kept my head down where
Wow.
it never got whooped
That's
back
crazy.
when I was riding.
So whenever you went to the barebacking, was that, so you done the bull riding at a young age,
Yeah.
and then you went to the
Bit
barebacking.
off the rails yet?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like whenever you go back to it, is that something that you were practicing as your bull riding, or is it just kind of like since your parents told you, hey,
Yeah.
listen, you're not?
Well, I ended up. So I was just getting on a stationary barrel, and then there's a couple stock contractors from up around our area. There's Curtis and Willie Mendel, and Curtis was mainly into the bulls, but Willie still had a lot of good buck and broncs. And so I ended up going to Willie's horse sale, and he was selling all his bucking horses out. And I went in there and I got on 5 in a day, and that was kind of like my first practice before I started doing the high school stuff. My rigging was not like everybody else's. Like I said, I bought it for $75 off a kid it was his dad's. It had it was.
So when
not
you say rigging, what is that? Because you know what rigging is.
his bareback rigging.
Bull rigging?
A bareback rigging basically looks like a suitcase handle.
It's
So is it
wood.
something that wraps underneath the horse?
So it would be like the girth on
The
a
girth,
saddle.
yeah.
Okay.
But it's wood block with a little bit of leather in it.
Mm-hmm.
And with your leather glove, when your hand's free, you're cramming it in there. But as
Chinese
soon
finger
as you
trap.
squeeze it, it's trapped.
Yeah.
Oh,
How does it
okay.
release? Like, how do you get off the thing?
You got
That's the most dangerous part to me about bareback riding.
Yeah, so you've got to. But what was good about my bareback rigging is what's funny is I had this old one, so they've modernized them and they've made them to where so that handle would sit like flat from the old school ones. Well, then they started creating them with higher lifts where the handle was angled like this. That way you could really pull yourself and you weren't so like that where you're prying up this way.
Right.
So the better the angle, the better you can drive your elbow down and pry up and pull, keep your hips down up on your rigging.
Well, versus like a bull rope, when they go to getting loose on your hand, is that when you know it's worn out and it's time to get a new one? When your hand starts getting sloppy in there?
Oh man, that's you can put a lot of rides in a bareback rig, just because.
But is that a preference then of what you feel comfortable with?
I think the guys that feel comfortable are the ones that are like, look, I'm here and I'm locked in until the whistle blows,
So when did you? So you went through that bareback, right?
Bronc phase.
And then, so did you go back to the bull riding after that, or did you?
I did, yeah. Once I got lucky enough to. I placed third in the state high school finals, and they take top 4 to national high school finals. So we ended up going to Gillette, Wyoming, and that's when the guys were like, "Look, there's a lot of college."
I want to touch on a point that they may not get though. Bull riding, you're trying to ride, you either get bucked off or pull your tail, get off. What he's talking about, you're getting off a bucking horse, and another guy on a horse rides up next to you.
Oh yeah.
And you're trying to get your bind out
Listen,
to get off on another
I
horse.
want to do that.
I tell you what we're going to do.
that.
Tomorrow I'm going to take you down here to the Kmart and I'm going to put $75 in this roundy round machine of quarters, and I'm going to ride up there and you're going to get off that round and round little merry-go-round.
Okay. Right.
So can you touch on any of that? Because I don't
Um,
think people know about that. That's psychotic to get off one horse onto another horse.
That's different.
And trust a guy
Yeah.
that's about your size, because you can't be my size
Tall
and have a
shit.
guy,
Tall, skinny.
It's heavy in the stirrups is the word I was looking for. You got to have a guy that can support your weight while you're getting off on the horse.
Man, I tell you what, and it's even the guys now though. It's crazy. So you got a leather glove, right? And there's a thing what they call a nipple.
Somebody cooking a microwave meal?
So this right here, on that leather glove, they put like a marble inside that leather glove, and
An actual marble?
It comes down and it sticks out like this.
What?
And that way
To wedge you in?
To wedge you in. That's what sets it. And then you have a little piece
I didn't know that shit.
in your glove, right? You have an extra leather piece in the palm of your glove that, just to kind of give you something, but it creates a bind. So you're double stuck. But now, them boys now have a 1-inch nipple on their glove, dang near, to where, so you're setting up, here's my handle.
Right.
I'm setting my hand up through here, and that nipple, you have to go at an angle, right? So I'm going at an angle to fit my glove in this handle. And then once I get that nipple past the handle,
above it,
then I'm cranking down on my pinkies and my hand, and now I'm setting it. And now
So-
that nipple's set on this side.
Keep in mind how he explains it. Your hand's in there. It ain't coming out.
Yeah.
It's good now,
What
right?
do you think your next move is on that? If your legs are not keeping that horse between you, and you decide to come off, your hand's staying in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
when
when shit hits the fan.
And that's when you close your hand and so you see that fatty right there, my hand there, right?
Yeah.
Pretend that's the leather in my glove.
Mm-hmm.
So now when you set your bindings, you're in a bind, right?
You're in a bind.
I'm shutting, and now I'm turning my hand back into that bind where that leather's rolling up in there. To where
And
you're,
keep in
you're
mind,
stuck.
if you do
How
not
the hell
keep
do you
that
get
horse
out?
between your two legs while that's in there, your whole day's fucked, bud.
Yeah.
You dislocating an arm, or what are you?
So
what,
basically, when you go up to, and they'll say, like, if they're, sometimes, and I remember hearing before, your pickup men come up behind, like, break your bind. And, if you're in control of your ride, you basically take your wrist, you take your free hand and you grab your wrist. if you can't do it just by double grabbing.
Yeah.
But you throw your riding elbow, your riding hand, you throw
While
your
the
elbow
horse is
forward.
still going.
Yeah, doing his shit.
Yeah.
Bucket, yeah.
And you just throw your elbow forward. That's going to first break your bind.
Bottom bind.
Right? It's going to break that palm bind.
Okay.
Okay? So now that's broke loose. Now this nipple's still down here. Now you're doing wrench, and
You're
then
literally
pulling it out.
wrenching your
Dude,
damn
I had
hand
no
out.
idea
That's
that was
wild.
a thing.
And you knew
You still
that.
want a bronc ride?
No, I've
No.
already ordered a buckle when we took a break. You guys are fucked, dude.
Listen,
Hey, I'll
So
get on
Barrel
that.
racing don't sound that bad now, does it?
Exactly. So let me ask you this, Chance. I know we're getting to the end of all this, but outside the bull riding and the bronc riding, which one is your fave? Or kind of like, I mean, I know you had to go with both with your family, but
Man, I would say I probably had just as much potential going somewhere doing bareback horses.
Yeah.
But I mean, after college, once I went to college, did my first or second college rodeo, we ended up. I drew my bull and my horse in the same night. Usually they'll split them, right? And what sucked, I think we was at Pratt, Kansas. But long story short, I drew my bull and my horse in the same night. Well, my rigging, the flank come off my first horse that night. So I had to get on 2 bareback horses and then my bull that night. And I wish I was more ambidextrous for where I could ride with both, but I
Right.
wasn't. I just rode with my right hand.
right.
I'm naturally left-handed, and so I rode with my right, and I mean I was about done at that point. I almost got hung up. my riggings on my second horse I got on, my rigging slid up over his withers, and I about got in real bad shape. But we had great pickup men.
This is a dumb question for me. 8 seconds is 8 seconds. What felt longer on a bareback horse or a bull? What 8 seconds felt like it lasted longer? Because as a judge, to me, a horse with good timing and rhythm seems like it goes by that fast.
I think
a bull riding seems like it could last 20 seconds.
Yeah, I think bulls is a lot longer.
Is
ride.
that just because of a rhythm effect of the horse?
Yeah, because the horse is moving so fast for
Because
the
it
most
sounds dumb.
part.
8 seconds is 8 seconds.
No, that's a
regardless.
great question because
Yeah.
I mean I would want to know the same thing.
Then you
'cause
see videos like you guys were watching just before we started. That bull, literally, it's so crazy. For the people who watching who've never watched a ranked bull go out and do that, they jump in the air and then they twist and they're bucking in the air.
I'm
Think
judging-
about this. Just this is what you just got to look at as the crow flies. Okay, I'm taking, let's say I'm driving 35. I'm taking I-35 to Texas, right? Or I'm taking 412 over to Arkansas.
Yeah,
But
straight,
say they're
hilly.
the same distance.
Yeah, straight,
Right.
hilly.
So your bull riding's your windy roads,
Yeah.
and your bareback riding's your straight
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah.
You're going the same distance, but this one's taking a lot longer to get there.
Yeah.
You know.
So
And-
which one
that's
do
a good
you,
analogy.
which one did you like? So if I had to, which one do you like more? Not that I mean I know that you did
Bull
both
riding.
great.
Bull riding.
oh yeah.
How far did you take bull riding?
All day. Man, so after college, I told my coach, I went to Fort Scott in Kansas, college rodeoed over there, and shout out to
Just
Coach
so you
Cross.
guys know, that's a party town.
yeah.
And Fort Hayes.
Shout out to who? Say the coach again. I'm sorry.
Coach Cross, Chad Cross.
Okay,
yeah.
is he still there?
He's still there, man. They've
Coach
actually
Cross,
got their
shout out.
they've got their college rodeo going on right now
I've
tonight.
actually,
tomorrow.
I've
Awesome.
actually judged with him a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shout out to Coach Cross.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's one coach that I always looked up to. And,
Yeah.
I mean, I keep him in the back of my mind constantly
Sure,
when I go through stuff. But yeah, what was that question that y'all talking
Just
about?
how far did you go with bull
Oh,
riding before
yeah.
you?
So, I linked up with some guys that were riding in CBR in college and riding the PRCA. My buddy Seth Reynolds and Corey Davis. And I started hauling with them a little bit. They were the ones that got me into it, and they roomed together there at college. And I mean, talk about. I wish I had. You're only as good as the guys that you haul with.
Sure.
And that's one thing that I learned as I went on. You know what I mean? That it's just like you are. It's like I ended up meeting Thad Newell in college at Bacone once I transferred over there, and I mean,
Guys will step up. Me and Thad went to a couple pro rodeos, and he was 94 points one night before I rode, and that amped me up so much.
Yeah.
And I also had traveling partners before we'd get there. They were 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And this one guy said all the time, "You just want to go to the bar instead?" And I'm like, I got to get rid of this traveling partner because it's unspoken bad juju that's bringing you in, and you're wanting to kind of.
Right.
And they were saying that, like when you saw a guy ride in '94, they would say go to the bar instead of riding.
Yeah, well, like Thad, he was a guy. He was business from the moment you would leave. He was guaranteeing he was coming home with money.
Yeah.
So when you get with guys like that, that's where your mind gets
Right.
to.
Your mind goes up a notch too.
But I actually wanted to ask you earlier, we're talking, that's how it works. You got good traveling partners, bad traveling partners, because you get in a car for 5 to 10 hours, your psyche changes.
Yep.
And did you ever travel by yourself?
Yeah.
Did it seem like it was more business when you were by yourself than when you were with your friends?
Yeah.
Like, no, I didn't have as much fun.
Right.
But when I was leaving to go by myself, it was a business. I was like, I'm going to win money. If I don't, it's a fail. And then I got to drive all the way back home.
Yeah.
And then when I be with guys, I'm like, oh, hell yeah, we're partying, we're picking music, we're having fun, we're probably going to the bar after. But when you pick guys like Thad, you ain't talking about what bar you're going to after.
Yeah. And I've heard you talk about that before.
Yeah.
Like is he still riding, or is he kind of?
No, he's actually doing stunt guy stuff now with Vin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Thad, he cracked back out a little bit, and just talk about it. I mean,
he's one of those guys like a Brandon Wesson that was a dual threat. They probably could have done even better as bullfighters.
Yeah.
As they did bull riders.
Yeah.
They were that good at their craft that they could have.
Yeah.
so good.
And so you went CBR level, PRCA level.
Yeah, and went to some touring pros. Curtis Mendel, a guy, kind of traveled back just a little bit back into time. When I was like 12, 13 years old, is a stock contractor that lives up in Salala. They owned a bunch of bucking bulls and stock, and I would actually take my bull riding stuff to his house on Wednesdays, and then I would ride with him over to Will Rogers Downs in Claremore, Oklahoma, where they used to have practice pins back there in the back.
So small world, he's talking about Kurt. Kurt's still got bucking bulls and a ranch going on out there, and he'll have guys work for him that ride bulls. And right now he's adopted the Brazilian bull riders that are coming here. These Brazilian guys will come work for him and get on his bulls for practice, get his bulls practice, and then these guys are going to bull rides and kicking ass and taking names.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so like so I want to know this part, and I don't, talking to you, that's something that we've never really. I want to know. So what turned you to the face side, right? I mean, was it the cancer, or was it something that you and your wife talked about? Was it something that the fear of not only just the bull riding aspect of it, but the fear of like what Wes talking about, the kids?
He's a bull rider. There was never no fear.
But but the thing about it is, I could see that though. But I could also see sometimes at work where it's like, listen, this is how it is. You can only be so tough, right? But I want to know what made you not only like turn to that, but turn to the face side. But is that something that triggered you, or is it something that you and your wife talked about, or what was that point?
On my faith?
Yeah.
It's been there for years, and I think it's more so. It's been there more so now ever since I had kids, than it has been before.
Is that what you alluded to? Where I sympathize with it. That's where the selfishness goes away. Where this is not about me. Once another life comes into the picture.
Yeah, because you learn so much, and congratulations to you on yours on the way.
Yep.
It's gonna change your life.
Yep. It already has.
Yeah, and you just when you hear that scripture that children are blessings from the Lord, I mean, there's a reason they say that, because you actually do learn so much through your kids, and you're like, where would I be if I didn't have you right now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a pretty crazy deal, and at the same time, bull riding and rodeo. I mean, you can say what you want, but you mentalize and visual your rides before you even go.
Yeah.
Right? You believe in what's happening before it even happens. Right? That's faith.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the start. That's just planting the seed there.
Yeah.
You talked about when Tapped Off come to you, he's watching Extreme Bulls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were.
Did
going
you
through,
find like I can't unless if I wasn't riding or I'm not judging, I'm not watching bull riding. Or people are calling back, hey, you want to go to the rodeo? You want to go to the bull ride? I'm like, they didn't hire me. I'm not going.
Yeah.
Are you that way?
Yep.
If I'm not involved, I don't want to go.
That's
and it's not a dickhead thing.
yeah.
No, that's a good question.
It's well, it'd be
I don't,
like
want,
if,
I don't want to take that bump again.
Yeah, yeah.
no,
You know what I mean? That's.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
because it brings up the old feelings of
It does more than anything because I mean that was one of that is a man in general. I feel like that's a man's greatest depression is when he
Well, I
feels
don't-
like he can't compete anymore.
I
Yes.
feel like people don't talk, and it's not just with bull riding. I can't tell you how many great guys I knew that were great bull riders. My outlet was judging. Your outlet is getting into the merchandise sponsorship.
Sure.
I've met so many guys that were great bull riders that never had an avenue after that turned into alcoholics.
Yeah,
Their
sure.
lives, but it's not
Yeah.
just bull riding; it's football,
Yeah, yeah, for
baseball.
sure.
When
Yeah.
your glory days are over,
Yeah, what
if
do
you
you
don't
do
have
now?
something to hang your
Yeah.
hat
Yeah.
on,
What do you do?
because
Yeah,
when you're a
yeah.
competitive person and you don't have that outlet,
yeah.
it sucks you.
Well, that's why I wanted to do
Yeah,
the
that's-
like we were talking about the Tapped Off deal. It's like, and when I was talking to Chance, he was like want to be kind of part of our deal. I was like, you know what, we have to deal with it every day, and whenever we put it with our everyday life, that's something that we want to be a part of. We're not like searching, like trying to pull all these different avenues. It's like that stuff that we live for.
Yeah,
Right?
and it is crazy. I mean, talking about that, it's like athletes and with whatever you do, football, baseball, bull riding, it's like you spend most of your like young life preparing for this and working your ass off to do this, and you spend your whole life, you dedicate a lot of time getting to that mountaintop, and then what happens whenever you're on the way down and you got to go back down to base camp and you've climbed the peaks? What do I do now?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think anybody here would say no. Can we all put our hands in on what we just said, being athletes, that we have a Mo Chatta softball tournament this year? This summer?
Yeah.
100%.
I'm being serious.
Come on.
100%.
There's no reason why we can't
Oh,
have a
yeah.
competitive
No, I agree.
Hey,
softball tournament
No, I
this
agree.
summer.
that's right. Softball, wiffle ball,
Any
anything,
I'm
know.
so
It's-
No, yeah,
it's-
but
it's-
what's
that.
cool though is let's backtrack just a small bit. Is you go back bronc riding, right? And you go back to bull riding, and then now you face something that you don't know what to face, but you're still being the tough guy. You're
Sure.
still being the dad.
Yeah.
You're still being the husband.
Yeah.
I want to go into this to kind of close out everything is the fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
The fear is it fear of failing, or is it fear of not being the dad for the kids, or kind of like Wes was saying, is like, is it the fear of the not knowing or the unknown?
and does it
Yeah.
change when he changed it to
Yeah,
fear?
does it change every day?
Oh.
My
does it-
my bull riding is what got me through my Monday, Friday work job.
Yeah.
When I had nothing to live for except going to that bull riding,
Yeah.
that once you had kids, did it change to your kids are what took you
Right.
to the Monday through Friday?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you get to relive being a kid again, in a sense. You know what I mean? You got
Right.
their sports.
Now, you're not one of those psycho parents, right? That I mean, I coach baseball like
Yeah.
you too, and you
Yeah.
see
No,
dad
you
that's
do.
scratching his teeth from the meth
Oh,
that
buddy.
almost made it to the
It's-
JV team.
Yeah. And that's so funny you say that, because that's a whole different topic too. I mean, as far as competitive ball or say competitive ball families and parents compared to rodeo parents and families, they're all here together.
Oh yeah.
They hope your boy rides, and oh man, that's too bad. Well, but over here in the competitive ball world, strike him out, DJ.
Oh
He
yeah.
can't
Well, you
hit
just seen it last week
Yeah,
where
yeah.
Cam Newton fought 4 guys at his
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The little training camp.
You
thing,
know,
yeah.
and that's the other deal. It's completely different. Like there's some of these parents that are just unbelievable.
Okay, so dumb question. Do you have closure in your sports and rodeo world? I didn't get closure.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
That was
but-
my finale on with you, is because that's a great question. Because I've always wanted to know that, because obviously you had to stop.
Right.
And
Right.
is it with me in the college level? Like, could I maybe went to a different level? People say I probably could have,
Yeah.
but to me, I was stopped, right? And that
Well, and the worst
and-
thing to see is a parent
yeah.
that didn't get no closure
Oh, yeah,
living
for
through
sure.
their child.
And that's the
Yeah.
thing is, like,
Right.
and the first thing I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna have boys, and then I have girls,
Yeah.
right? And then it's
Living
like, why aren't these
vicariously.
girls playing softball? Because
Yeah.
And
Mo,
I think
you
it's
played,
more
you know what I
predominant
mean?
than what people would.
No, I totally
so,
agree.
too.
So, but
That's
what
the
I'm saying is
biggest thing.
going back to it, where you're like, you know what? And we kind of jump through, but whenever are you pushing your boys? Have they ever thought about getting on a bull? Have they ever thought about, I'm going to live like my daddy lives? Or are you, and I know you're in every sport,
Sure.
you know,
Yeah.
you're coaching stuff, but for me, and Wes, a point on this too, is for me is like, I want to be a bull rider.
Yeah.
Hell, I mean, just talking to y'all, I want to be, like I told you, I want to get on a bull. And Wes goes, no, you don't. Well, you know what I'm saying? And I tell you every day, I want to do bulldogging.
Yeah.
Do I not?
Yeah.
So just by listening to you, is that something that you tell your boys? And I know that you're not pushing nothing,
Uh-huh.
and I know
Right.
that. But has any of them said, you know what, Daddy? I want to be a rodeo man. I want to be a cowboy.
And it's weird because I found my own way, you found your own way. How does your brain work to let your kids find their own
Yeah, that's
way?
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing that they've seen the cowboy world.
And they're all three different. They're all
Yeah.
three different.
Yeah.
They've been brought up in ball.
Yeah.
You know, they've all had their fair share. Yeah, heck, my oldest. It's funny because I mean you can mold your kids however you want to,
Right.
but there is a point in time to where you have to step back and
Sure.
let them do their own thing.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at now. Because I offer. I was like, man, if you're not liking this ball, you want to go get on a bull or something? You want to go get on a steer?
Oh, you do
Yeah.
say that?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I was like, if you're not happy here, let's find you something else. Do you want to play the piano? Nope. Okay, well, whatever you want to do, I'm here for you.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I think the biggest thing in masculinity is facing humility,
Yeah.
even in front of your children.
1,000%.
Like, look, I wanted to do this. I did it this way.
Right.
It was not the right way.
Oh, yeah.
But the last thing you want to do is go into something and then leave it knowing that you didn't do everything as disciplined as
Right.
possible that
Right.
you could have. you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And the
And I
world
know
we
you're
live
a
in
great
now,
dad.
your kid's
Yeah.
going to go against what you're trying to
Yeah.
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 teach them anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, shoot. I mean,
Well, how old are your boys?
they're 11, 10, and 5.
Have you got to that age yet where you've noticed where they're becoming, for sure enough, their own headstrong individual where
Yeah.
dad ain't right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and I can hear,
Yeah.
and I've
Yeah.
heard some of the stories too, and you know what's awesome. I'm a baseball guy, so every time I hear baseball, I was like, yeah, come on, let's keep him there, keep it, you know. But I also love Chance when he tells me all the time. He's like, listen, I'm not pushing them. Listen, if they
Yeah.
come to me and they want to shuffle skate, no, that's what I want my kids shuffle skate. You know what I mean? But if he says that's what we're gonna do, right? This
Yeah.
is what, you know. But
I just
To
pray
me-
my kid don't pee as much as I do.
oh,
I'm
100%.
around my tonsils are throating again. It's fucking
Come on.
bad. You guys keep this going. I've been talking too much.
No, you've been talking good. No, that's
No, we're almost done anyway.
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
mean that's, and I know he has to leave, but I mean, what I want to do, Chance, is like, I mean, Biggie and I talked about too is, you know, like we've been boys, and like I want you, whatever you need from us on the tapped off deal. And I
Yeah.
told you it's
Well-
part of my life.
Sure.
Whether it's, you know, friends, dad, just being a normal person out of it. You know what I mean? It's something that I live up to. You know what I mean? It's we talk about it, you know, and you're like, listen, this is what I want to do, but we're gonna post your video. Listen, y'all
Yeah, I wanna
y'all
see that.
have to
I'm
hear
excited
that
for that,
rap.
yeah.
The rap is so. I mean, We'll have Haley and them post
we'll
it
post
on
a
the
link
deal.
to it. And,
But y'all have to get the tapped off gear. You have to go back to listen to his story and
and that's
and
that's one thing too. I was wanting to hear too, real quick before we wrap up, is whenever you got done with bull riding and what made you want to get into this side of it. We talked a little bit about it before we realized there was no SD card in the recorder.
Well,
but
the whole tapped off thing, really, and it's funny how it's all happened because it kind of faded out for a little bit. We backed off. We were at one point, we're in 27 retail stores across the United States.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And it was going well. But there was also just the time, it's all timing. You know what I mean? And from kind of what I went through, since this has faded out till now, it's like I've got a whole lot, I've got more of a vision of what I want. And really it comes from all of us, adult males, fathers, and that there's a whole new age of youth that's going through a different world.
Yep.
Yeah.
We all come from broken families.
Absolutely.
Right? But
100%.
we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever youngster's making out there to think you're alone, we're here.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Some people might have not have seen it, but when you first come on the scene, there was, that I can tell you, probably 10 other companies that come on at the same time. They're gone.
Yeah.
You've never went away. You were kind of quiet about it.
Right.
So like you were just saying, I think the time's right. You're coming back in again.
Yeah.
When it should.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, that's what I want, just because, not only just because we're friends, but the whole, like you're part of that, the tapped off, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you want to get the apparel out. You want to get the story out.
Sure.
You want to do all that stuff. But not only just that, I'm thinking, man, how awesome would it be to have this somewhere in the rodeos? All the have a booth out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's,
Have you experienced? I think your logo is badass.
I do
I've got a
too,
Yeti
yeah.
drinking cup. I told
I
you
think it's so
before we got here. 6-7 years ago,
Yeah.
you give me a sticker. I put it on my Yeti
Yeah.
drinking cup that I drink out of all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I've got it in the truck. I drink and drove here with it on here.
I don't recommend
Part of it's
that.
branding,
water,
and
tea and
I
water.
think your brand your branding for Tapped Off has been cool from the word go.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm hoping
Yeah,
it lives
that's-
and breathes.
That's
and just-
awesome. You got that TM'd, because that's like
Yeah.
tapped off. That's
Well,
a clutch.
I could go into depth about it. The O kind of represents the circle of life that we take, and then obviously you got the T in the skull and the horns, but you got to take this circle of life by the horns too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To become that diamond that's in the rough. That skull's the roughest part of that bull's
Did
body.
you just make that up right now, or did you have that?
That's what I had whenever
That
I
is
threw it.
beautiful.
Yeah,
That-
that's
dude,
awesome.
That's
I'm telling
Diamond
you,
in the rough.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And that's why I brought you on, because you're a diamond in the rough. Because I want him to say, look, that right there in the middle of that's you. You're a diamond in the rough.
But you know
what
what
I
he
mean?
has that I don't? He can sell a ketchup popsicle to a lady in white gloves. I can't do that.
False.
First of all, he's taller and he's better looking. You know what I mean? No, that's
yeah.
cool. Like you said,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole gist of it. And like I told you, I mean, Ethan, I don't want it to be about cancer, but what I do is I freaking love every part of your
Yeah.
story, man.
Yeah.
I love every part
Love
of
it.
this and the
Giving
and
back aspect.
yeah,
and-
dude. I mean, it's like that's what he keeps saying. He's like, dude, I want to get this out there, not only just to give back, the circle of life, and I was trying to draw stuff, right? I said, and it says, have faith and hold on. Remember what we talked about?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that's not rodeo stuff.
Well, and
Yeah.
people,
That's like
life.
every day when
It's
I
life
get
stuff.
up, it's
People-
like, you know what? We come up, and it's like, you know what? And I always tell the mindset deal, we have positivity, but I promise you this, is to have faith and hold on.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is the mentality as a man.
Yep.
As
it's-
if I come
have
up,
no-
that's what I
have no
want. So
fear.
I don't need the rodeo part.
it's hard in the
Yeah.
world we live in where people are chasing the almighty dollar.
Yep.
Yeah,
People don't know me. We've known each other a while.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've never met a man that is so strong in his faith,
Oh, I totally
family.
agree.
This is just He's building a legacy for himself, and if there's something that people could get behind,
Yeah.
it's your brand tapped off.
I totally agree.
Yeah,
That's what I
appreciate
want to bring him on
awesome.
because I totally agree with that. I can't, like, the story adds character to it.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also, the story has nothing to do about
Barry White's.
what this is. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, because of the fact of it's not rodeo.
Right.
Rodeo adds to it.
Yeah.
He just like whenever him, like if I say, hey, E, have faith in oil because you're about to have a baby.
Yep.
That's what he has to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a deal, and man, I appreciate you, and
That's the
I
thing,
love you, man.
You know, yeah, I love you too. I appreciate you guys. That last thing, if I could share something,
Yeah,
is,
absolutely.
you know,
Please do.
Share whatever you want to.
Revelations 3:11. It says, "I'm on my way. I'll be there soon. Keep a tight grip on what you have, so no one distracts you and steals your crown."
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
So whatever your goals are set towards,
yeah,
don't. The enemy's gonna take every chance that he can to distract you of what
Yeah.
direction
Yep.
you're going.
That's 100% true.
And
Well, and I feel like Haley, you know what I mean, like with the stuff that not only just like no, she's not going through anything, but I think that calls for what we're all talking about everyday life, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like don't let the enemy distract you when you think
Yeah.
that you have it, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh wait a minute, that's not right. That's not
Right.
part of the social world. That's not part of the whole deal. That's kind of like what I started this podcast deal.
Yeah.
And I went up to E and I was like, "Listen, bro, I have zero social media."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "But I can tell you this: we're gonna do this, and we're gonna have a great time. And I want my boys to be around, no matter if we get followers. I don't give a shit."
yeah,
And it's the same thing, right? We're not trying to like attract those type of people.
sure,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
I want the people that we love.
Everybody loves a good underdog story. You're not.
Oh, yeah.
You're not an underdog.
Oh no.
yeah.
But I have nothing but respect for you and hope you succeed in
I
everything
appreciate
you
it,
do.
brother. Yeah,
So I don't know how to go off of that, but
man, just
But
Tapped
what's
off,
your
baby.
what's
What
your
else you
what's your
got?
slogan?
uh,
You said it earlier.
Oh, dude, no. Can we get a no?
Toast
Listen
at
to this
the end.
shit. Can we get a brief of? Listen, this is crazy shit. I'm so glad I thought of that shit. Can we get a brief, like a small of your new song coming out?
oh,
Put 'em
Oh,
on the
dude,
spot.
no. Listen to this shit. I'm so pumped off. I wish I could. I wish I was like an audio dude. I could. Yeah. No, listen. You'll
Yeah.
love this, E.
well, you know that Waylon and Willis song, "Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys," right?
Oh, listen to this shit.
Well, I was thinking about that, and I was like, man, I know they didn't really mean it, but at the same time, I was like, there's no way I'd make it through if I hadn't been raised by several different cowboys in my life. And so I wrote a little story, but it goes, "From a broken home to a broken heart, hard leather soles," my cowboy boots. "Hard leather soles gave a lost soul a new start. Around the age of 6, I got my first felt hat. It was way too big, but I grew past all that. I found a big crown to fill and a brim well rounded. I believed by the time it fit, I would be well grounded. Met a family that resided off of Highway 88. Ran a ranch and a rodeo, claimed me son by the age of 8. I learned to sort through the keepers and ship off the lame. Saw a lifestyle that would forever make my life change. Till the wall came, I didn't see coming for miles. When I heard Daddy say, I'm going away for a while. Back to the ranch I went off Highway 88, where happiness was being a cowboy and running gates. Grabbing a cattle prod after kicks to the hip. The cowboy way taught me all about your grit and no quit, so don't be silly, Willie. The cowboy way's about your grit and no quit, so what you saying, Waylon?" And so that's kind of where it goes.
Dude, dude, that's
Love
dude. See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I wanna-
we're
I
gonna
wanna
put
ride
links to
bull
that.
you're gonna keep fucking around. I'm gonna take you to the house. And we're gonna get you.
Well,
I
here's
love
to
you,
going
Jason.
to where the wind takes us to what we want and more. Here's to being a cowboy and a good man, because that's what God had in store. Here's to better days, dawns, and sunsets. Here's to living this life with no regrets.
Oh,
Appreciate
love you, brother.
boys.
Cheers.
Love y'all.
Love you.
Love you.
Mm.
A good way to end it.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that was fun.
I told you we could have gone forever.
This is gonna be
Sorry, that
rough.
wasn't a very way. That was straight you.
That was straight.
I noticed that when I swallowed it.
I know.